Good morning and welcome to the Funhaus Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Haley. I'm here with my other hosts. Who are you?
I'm Lindsay. I realize you're sitting where you're like facing the camera and I sit like this away from the camera.
For audio listeners,
This is what it looks like,
right.
is what I'm describing.
Well, okay, Lindsay, in the past, a couple months ago, we had the Rick pod. Remember that?
Oh, that was great.
That was great. We
Love
got a
getting
lot
to
of
know
insight
all
into the
about
Rick.
how Rick behaves in his car.
Then we went to the Omar pod.
The
Remember that
Omar
one?
car.
Yeah.
It goes fast, 0 to 60 with
Right.
Omar.
Lots of sneakers in there. Then we had Mom's Home on here. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, but that wasn't like a questionnaire, was it? It was like...
Not really. It was just kind of an interview with Mom's
about
Home.
music.
Still.
That was great.
Anyway,
that was
we're gonna
great.
have another one of those episodes today. Today is the infamous Jon pod.
Oh.
Come on, Jon Smith.
Of course.
The long-awaited Jon pod that everyone's been waiting for.
Are you ready to answer deep and provocative and thought and private and personal questions?
Well, I was under the impression that I was just being on for a segment. I didn't realize that I was the segment.
You are the segment. I wanted to, get your, your cold reaction here. So I got everyone on the subreddit. I was hoping you wouldn't be surfing the subreddit today. Got lots of questions.
I don't go there anymore.
Okay, well, I got questions. I got the subreddit to have questions. So, we're gonna get a little bit of insight into Jon Smith today.
All right, hit me.
All right. So we'll
Also, hello.
hey,
What's up, John?
I was saying hello to Lindsay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
You've bamboozled me here.
we already said hello.
Pixie Doodle.
We already went over all of last night's Barry episode.
I've been
today.
hoodwinked.
Oh.
So let's start from the beginning, John. You work here at Funhaus. How did you end up here at Funhaus? What led you here? What was the path?
It's actually
Explain
a
it.
pretty funny story that involves a cross-country trip,
Okay.
homelessness, other types of dramas.
Okay.
So basically, I was living and working in LA for years as a reality TV assistant editor, and it was lifeless, and I didn't feel fulfilled creatively. And I said, if I'm just gonna be doing shit, I should prioritize. All of my friends are up in Oakland. I'm gonna move back up to Oakland and find work up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved up to Oakland with a little bit of savings. I did not find work there. I applied for months. I interviewed I remember I interviewed at 2K.
Question.
Yes, hit me.
What year is this?
This is 2015.
Oh my God, I was living up there.
Really?
Yes, we could have been friends.
No.
Sorry,
Huda,
go ahead.
shoulda, coulda.
You applied at 2K.
I applied a bunch of different places. I just remember I had I interviewed with 2K and actually did an editing audition or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted me to. I learned afterwards they were only considering people who actually bought a game, recorded all of their own footage, and then cut a trailer with the footage. Whereas I just recut existing trailers into a new one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I reached the end of my savings and plumb dry, no money in the bank account. But I said, you know what? I have this cush assistant editing job down in LA that I can go back to at any time. For the audio listeners, Ryan just chugged half of a water bottle.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's
very
what
thirsty.
that was. I said, I have a cush job that pays a bunch of money every week that my boss said, come back whenever you want. So I could literally just drive down to LA and have a cush job again if I wanted to. And I said, so you know what? I'm going to rough it out up here. At the time, I was driving this giant truck because of circumstances. I don't like driving giant trucks. But I Googled, I went on Craigslist, I found a trailer. I got a trailer for my truck, and I lived in my truck for 3 months in the backseat with an IKEA bed frame.
Cool. Sounds like the life.
Uh-huh. And during that time...
No rent.
Exactly. During that time, I got an interview at Crunchyroll, and I said, I love anime. And so I went and I interviewed, and they said, we are verbally offering you the job. You have the job, and the HR lady told me, I've never seen someone not get a job having reached this point, so I can guarantee you that you have the job. The only thing we need to do is we need to get the board together, and they need to approve the hire. And this lasted for, I think, about 8 weeks. Where they were just like, you have the job. We just need to finalize it. The board keeps having to postpone their meeting. And then finally, after maybe it was 6 weeks, after about 6 weeks, this guy Scott calls me and goes, "So bad news. They're dissolving Shutterbug or whatever the fuck. They're dissolving one of the sister companies of Crunchyroll, and we have to absorb their production team rather than this team that I had been tasked with finding, and I've spent the past few months like interviewing everybody to form this team for an in-house Crunchyroll production team. Instead, all of that work I did is obsolete, and I just have to take in these people that are already on payroll." And I said, "Fuck, okay." And so I went home to LA, tail tucked. But I told him, because one of the things we connected on in the interview was Rooster Teeth. Because I talked about Rooster Teeth, as a model of being able to make your own content and how the online...
So you knew what Rooster Teeth was?
I knew what Rooster Teeth was, and I liked their get-up because they were a clear sign of the internet success story where you just start making something and then you figure out a monetary model around it. And that was kind of what I presented in my interview about how I liked that and how, because they made an animated show, but they started selling shirts and then it blew up from there. Anyways, he ended up having worked with Funhaus, with Bruce and I think, James at G4. And so when I didn't get the job, I went, "Hey, well, looks like Rooster Teeth, Funhaus is hiring. Can you put in a good word for me?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." Didn't hear anything for a while. And then I got an email or a call from Bruce and he was like, "Let's interview you." And I went in and it was the most awkward interview of all time because it was all 5.
Did he have your resume or anything?
I had submitted.
Oh, okay.
And then I let Scott know. Sorry,
you had
I'm
a
not...
video too, didn't you? Did you have a video?
I
resume?
did,
I want
yeah.
to bring up that video because that's the one thing
Yeah.
I've seen. But anyway, finish your story. Yeah.
But so anyways, we did the interview. It was the most awkward thing because it was me with 5 people all staring at me. And I remember trying to make eye contact with all 5 people at the same time. It was worse afterwards. Because, like for you, I think you were in a room with 14 people.
Yeah.
You interviewed with everybody?
Bruce, for the
They all
editing
grilled
roles,
me.
Bruce would bring in the editor for the entire... We would sit... Remember in the old editor's room there were the couches with the TV?
Yeah.
They would sit in a stool where the TV was, and the entire Funhaus crew would sit there
Pepper
and
me
ask-
with
Shouts out
questions.
to
Yeah.
Bruce, but
It
what
was
the
so
heck?
fucking awkward.
I mean, okay, real quick, and I want to let you finish too. But when
love
I
mine.
got hired, well, like when I came to interview, by the way, these guys are all my friends. Like I know them. I've known them for a decade, and yeah, I'm sitting in a room with like Lawrence and James and I think Elise, and I'm like, "Hey guys, yeah, you know me." And I'm currently working at Couch Shop. Like I had to leave my job during the day to come over there. But like Brett knew too. But I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm sitting in a room with all you guys. Like, what you have a question for me? Like, you either need somebody for this job and it's gonna be me or you don't." Anyways, but I can't, that's crazy.
Yeah,
You go
polar
ahead.
opposites. I just remember being so stressed. But I got the job. And I only learned later, much later, that I think Bruce wasn't really looking to hire anyone on. Like at the time, they were fine with how many editors they had and everything. But at E3, Scott and his wife were down there, and they literally, I think it was James and Bruce. They were like, "We Airbnb'd this yacht." I don't want to duck, but they have money, so they're like, "We Airbnb'd this boat to stay on for E3. Come party on our boat." And so they did, and then when they got there, Scott was like, "I need to show you something." And he sat them down and forced them to watch my video resume that I made.
Wow.
And
That's
it's like,
so funny, dude. Yeah.
yeah. And he's like, "You need to hire this guy." And supposedly,
It worked out.
this is what James and Elise claim, that they were the ones who fought for me and were like, you need to get this guy here.
So yeah, I'd heard that story a couple years ago from James, and I didn't know about the boat, the yacht party or whatever.
Yeah.
But the way he had said it, because I had asked like, oh, how'd you guys get hooked up with Jon Smith? And he basically said, from his perspective, he's like, yeah, I saw this video, and then he sent me the video. And it's hilarious. If you haven't seen it, I don't know if it's up there publicly or
Yeah, it's still on
anything.
Vimeo. It's called Jon Smith's 5-minute video resume or something.
It's honestly really smart. If you're, to me, that was like inspiring. Like if you're out there like wanting a job in this kind of stuff, like take Jon's cue for this video and make just like a wacky animated video. Oh, okay. Oh, it's up there right now. Okay, Rick is on it and he has
Well,
the
it's
video.
5
up.
minutes long, so we can't watch it.
Yeah, we won't watch it, but here, it's up there, I guess. Are you cut to it right now?
Well, he needs
Let's show some B-roll
all
from
your tabs and
Yeah, here,
bookmarks
throw some
and
B-roll
stuff.
up there quietly while we're.
Can you
kinda
just
talking
make
about
it
this.
big in the thing? Yeah, like puts. We're all like, can you? There you
but
go. Look at
so-
that.
Yeah, just kind of scrub through
The
it.
idea behind this was born almost from frustration because I've discovered that on paper and over texting, I found any written communication, I'm terrible at it, and my personality doesn't come across. Nothing. But I discovered that if I'm ever able to just get into the room with people and do like a face interview, my success rate for being employed is I think maybe at 100. I'm not exactly sure. I can't think of many times that I've interviewed and not gotten a job, to be honest. But applying, submitting applications, it's 1,000 to 1. It's like
Yeah, totally.
the amount of times I've applied to something. And so also whenever I would apply to video, creative stuff, it would be places that would call me back and that I'd get employed at were things that I didn't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
I didn't give any absolute shit about. I hated it. And so it was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video resume that one, I can, show off my personality before I get in the room with people. And two,
Smart.
it will cut out anyone who is like too lame to not be into doing weird shit.
Yeah.
And so that was what I did. And shortly after I made this, it was I made this when I was in Oakland. That's right outside of Sprinkle Lab, the old company I founded.
Yeah, John, how old were you in this video?
You look like
in
a
this
baby.
video,
Yeah, you look like a baby.
right? I was 27, 28, I think.
Yeah, a baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was. I was just frustrated about all the work that I wasn't getting, and the work that and also the work I was getting. I was frustrated by because it was like, I don't want to be doing this shit.
That was my favorite part when you had that animated man fucking up your truck.
That's
and stuff.
Domar.
Yeah, Domar or whatever.
D''OH Mar. It's
Nice.
it's a bizarro Homer. Everyone, a few people have seen it because I was a little character I used to draw all the time, and people would see and go, "That's just Homer."
Oh.
It's like, no, it's Domar. It is a rip on Homer. You fucking
Motherfucker. All right, well, that was very interesting.
And you've been happy here ever since.
yeah.
You never left.
I never left.
We'll get, we might cover that section coming up. So this is a video
Next
game
question.
channel.
Why did you leave us? I'm just kidding.
So I hear this is a video game channel. What's your history with video games?
My history of video games.
When did you start playing? First game, favorite game?
It's actually kind of regretful, to be completely honest.
Your history with video games?
Okay. I didn't have any friends who played video games. Hold on, let me rephrase that. I didn't have a good sense of self as a child or an adult or still. And so when I had friends who would play video games, I was really into video games. But then I started hanging out with people in high school that didn't play video games. And so I just sold all of my video games. And then I didn't get back to playing video games until like my early 20s when I got like a gaming laptop. And I've dabbled in stuff, but then once I started here, I started learning about that, there's actually more depth to like your knowledge than just having played a video game. Like people would talk about the developers and stuff, and I was like, oh, the developers are the ones making the games. It's like, maybe I should follow the developers like I follow directors and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really was when I started here that I started learning more about both that, you know, if I liked this game, I should see what other games this company has made, as well as, just because it's not on Target's shelf doesn't mean that it's like, you know, but I very quickly learned that most games I like are indie games that are made by like individuals after starting here. But growing up, it was off and on. I got a Game Boy. My uncle got me a Game Boy for Christmas against my parents' orders.
Oh,
there was
boy.
no video games in the house. In my
Only outside?
well, only at my grandma's.
Only in the yard.
My grandma bought us a Super Nintendo and then was like, I'm going to keep it here. So that you have to come over here and hang out with me.
That's sneaky.
Yeah, it's
You didn't want to just go hang out with your grandma?
No.
Oh,
God, no.
I would bake cakes with my grandma.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She'd
Nice.
let me crack the eggs.
I was actually partially raised by my grandma, but then she's dead to me.
Oh, next question.
Okay.
She's also dead. Go on.
She said to everyone, just to be clear.
I'm not just saying this, you're one of my favorite editors.
Oh, thank
I
you.
really love your editing style. Talk about your history, but when did you start editing? Like, when did you pick up a
Oh, gosh.
nonlinear editing system?
That was high school. I went to a high school called, and this is real, High Tech High. It was named by some
It
losers.
was from the musical High Tech High.
It's actually pretty cool in that so I think a lot of us in our older years have heard about, how the American education system's broken, and it was developed during the Industrial Revolution to create factory workers. That's quite literally the modern American education system we're using today is designed to create workers and not thinkers.
Okay.
And it has never been changed from that. Because standard education wasn't even really a thing.
Or memorizers. That's what I feel like I was taught to be.
Well, it's repetition, right? It's doing the same thing over and over again and knowing what you have to do to work in a factory. And so that is a real thing. That's why Americans, our base average health is so much lower than like all of Europe and everything. It's because we haven't changed how we're teaching our children since we needed to fill factories 100 years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, but so the school was founded with the intent of trying to change that. So it's a public charter, and like it was big among philanthropists or whatever. Like Bill Gates stopped by one time, Oprah came. Like, it was this whole thing where they're like, we're revolutionizing the American education system. But it was basically designed for real world applications, is what they said. And so when we first started, I don't think this is the case anymore. When we first started, we had to wear business casual, so everyone wore khakis and like polos.
Mm-hmm.
And we called all our teachers by their first names. We did a lot of group projects, things that basically simulates like
Cult.
a cult,
No, just kidding.
or like a small business environment, pretty much. But what it also meant was that everything was looser, and you could convince your teachers to let you do whatever the fuck you wanted. And so whenever I had a paper, I'd say, actually, could I make like a short film or a documentary on this instead? And they'd say, oh yeah, sure. And
That's
so
actually cool though.
right?
Yeah, that's cool.
So for 4 years of my life, I just fucked around in the multimedia lab, basically.
And you basically self-taught yourself how to edit?
Uh-huh.
What did you learn on?
I learned on
iMovie? Final Cut?
well, it was technically
Window Movie Maker.
initially it was Vegas, but then we had Max, so then it switched to Final Cut 7 pretty quickly.
Okay.
And so yeah, it was mostly Final Cut. I learned on Final Cut, and then I transitioned over to Avid when I was working in reality,
Gross.
and then I transitioned over to Premiere when I came here. And so my keyboard shortcuts are an amalgam of all the different
Avid
programs and
shortcuts
everything.
in my brain too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I learned on iMovie and never going back.
What's your blade tool?
My blade tool?
What's your button?
C?
C.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still C.
Oh.
I rarely use the blade tool though.
Mine is B.
Okay, I don't
For
remember
Blade.
what he is.
As an AE, we never really cut anything.
That's smart.
We just put it all together. We never had to cut.
All right, John. Like I said, I asked some of the audience to ask questions, so we're gonna speed through some fun audience questions.
Okay,
Okay.
hit me.
We're just gonna go down the list here. What's your favorite piece of content you've been a part of? Goose Suit asks.
Favorite piece of content?
You've ever been a part of? You have 4 seconds to think of these answers.
Fuck, dude.
Sorry.
I thought you were gonna ask me what my favorite edit was.
What's one that stands out?
And it's still, I think to this day, is still Strip Club Manager.
Okay.
That was the first video where I like felt like I don't know.
Strip club manager?
Not-
Do I want to be looking this up?
It's not elevated, but injected me into my video or into the video that I was editing. That was the Strip Club Manager one from back in the day. That was like, I think maybe my third edit or something. But favorite content that I've ever been a part of. Do you mean at Funhaus?
Sure. Or no, or it could be anything. But yeah, let's do both. Anything, your whole life, and then also, yeah, favorite Funhaus content.
Anything is the Justin Bieber documentary.
The real one in real life?
Yeah, the real life.
Never
Justin
Say
Bieber
Never or
documentary,
something?
Never Say Never. Yeah,
I love that movie.
I was actually asked.
What? You were in that?
No, I was actually asked to be an editor on it
Oh, no
because
way.
it was being directed by John M. Chu, who actually directed Crazy Rich Asians.
That guy's cool.
Yeah, and he was close with Jason Russell, who founded Invisible Children, which is the nonprofit that I got started
It all
at.
makes sense now.
Which actually, okay, no, yeah, I was using Final Cut in that as well.
It's got 2 million views.
Really?
Yeah, 1.7.
Strip club
Nice.
manager?
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice. I
Um,
wonder why.
and so Jason came to me and he said, you know, they have these reality editors, but these documentary editors, they don't have the heart that they need to make this Justin Bieber documentary. And I had just left Invisible Children, so he's like, I'm putting your name in, and I want you to, you know, they want to hire you. You have the job if you want it.
Nice.
And I went, okay, great. So I listened to Justin Bieber's music for like 3 hours. And as an editor, basically a marketing editor at Invisible Children, where I was making trailers and stuff like that, you'd listen to the same songs over and over again, and they would just become you. Like if you're using a song in an edit and you're editing something, that song becomes a part of your life
Yes.
for a certain amount of time.
Can relate.
And I was like, I can't like be so not absorbed, but I can't absorb Justin Bieber into my veins for 6 months straight. I just can't do it.
Wait, so you didn't work on
So I
this?
declined.
Oh, wait a minute.
And I got so much shit. I feel like I burned some bridges because Jason like really put me forward for this like big thing, and I was like, no, thank you.
Oh my God.
But then the big kicker was that when I finally got my first job in reality TV, it was at Magical Elves, which is in Hollywood. And I went there and I got on the elevator and the doors opened, and it opened to a poster.
Justin Bieber.
The Justin Bieber poster for Never Say Never. And it was like, holy shit. Like I would have been here in this building 10 years ago if I hadn't have turned down that thing.
Weird.
Well, not
All
10.
right, that was funny. So Flash Jack Mac asks, who would you want to play? Who would play you in the Funhaus movie? Like if we were all cast as
gosh.
actors.
I know the answer.
Well, the flash forward would be Conan's assistant.
Andy?
Yeah, Andy.
Andy Richter.
Andy Richter would be the flash forward.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, the Funhouse reunion, it would be played by Andy Richter. The current or flashback, a lot of people have told me Clark Duke, which is just so frustrating to me.
Yeah, Lindsay, look
Clark
him up.
Duke?
Show me too.
A lot of people said it's less his look and more that we have similar vibes, which is, I don't know if that's more or less insulting.
Oh, I know who this is. He
Yeah,
was
Clark
on like
Duke.
Greek.
He was on Greek. He was on Clark and Michael. He had a short film,
Is it
web
just because
series.
he's like the weird guy, like the unique
think
guy?
so. I
That's
don't
why.
know.
That's the only
And
reason.
I think I used to have a bit more of a southern kind of twang. I've kind of lost it. that's partially from being raised by my grandma. I had a bit of a southern.
This.
To
Oh,
me.
do you want to see? I'm,
Yeah, I wanna
I'm
see.
like,
Show me this guy.
I'm gonna show.
Okay. I've seen this guy before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know Clark Duke.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
all know
yeah.
Clark Duke.
He was
Yeah.
in Hot Tub Time Machine.
He was in Hot Tub Time Machine. He played not
kind of
Plop.
like a weird guy, like a little kind of. Oh.
What about Patrick
Plop's
Renner?
friend. Patrick Ritter.
Renner, I think that's his name.
Patrick Renner.
Jeremy Renner's
No,
son.
the guy who played Ham in The Sandlot.
Oh.
I love that guy.
Wait, you're killing me, Smalls.
Well,
that guy?
I don't know if he was
Does
on
he
that
not
said
say
that. He probably that was him,
the guy from the Big Green. Okay,
but
yeah.
no, not that guy. I don't know who
You
that
talking about this guy, Ryan?
Yeah,
that
I know
guy.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah, maybe 20 years ago.
What's his actual name? Patrick Renner.
Is
Yeah,
that what
Patrick
he looks
Renner.
like today?
Yeah.
Apparently, kind of.
Oh.
Okay,
then
well,
Not that off base.
I feel like that mine is the best one because I was gonna say, fucking Jesse
Pratt.
Plemons.
Oh.
Oh well.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
see
Okay.
it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess
So yeah, you're welcome because everybody else was like, you're
you.
a dork. And I'm like, Jesse Plemons is fucking cool.
So was that guy. Patrick Renner's cool.
before Chris, what's his face, from Parks and Rec, before he lost all the weight and became Guardians guy, I was compared to
Okay.
Andy
Pratt?
pre
Oh,
losing
yeah.
weight,
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
like season 1,
Because he's like a goofy guy.
Yeah,
Ver612 asks, who are your comedic influences?
Chris Farley,
I can see it.
David Wayne,
Cool.
Bob Odenkirk.
Wait, David Wayne, you mean from
Sorry,
David?
I meant David Cross, but
Oh.
also David Wayne.
Oh, David
yeah.
Cross. Never knew.
I grew up. So when I was a kid, we didn't have HBO. I was raised in a Christian home. But my
By your grandma.
brothers- By my grandma. My brother's friend Zach would record Mr. Show, bring it over to our house, and watch it. And my brother was in high school, and I was like 10, 11, 12. It really cemented my fucked up sense of humor. It was that, The Simpsons, and Wet Hot American Summer.
You would describe your sense of humor as fucked up?
No. Did I say that?
You did. I just wanted to check because, I feel like I
I'd say
get
it's-
you. Like, I get it. And I feel like we make each other laugh. So I was like, I'm not fucked up.
Yeah.
No, fucked up is a loose term.
I mean,
You're
more of
fucked
dark.
up.
Okay, well,
more of like
Ryan,
obscure.
Fucked up
I
is a loose
guess.
term.
Fucked up as in not
Fucked Up is a Canadian hardcore band. All right, and we're gonna break for an ad, and we're gonna come right back for it. So go listen to some Fucked Up. Stamps. Yummy. I love the lick 'em. When every person, moment, and penny counts in your business, you can't afford to take any of them for granted. Luckily, Stamps.com gets it, man. They've been helping businesses, big and small, save time and money for the last 25 years. Stamps.com gives us some of their products, and guess what? I use it for Christmas stuff, and I've saved tens, if not dozens, if not 20s of dollars, and it really has improved my life. So with Stamps.com, all you need is a computer and a printer. They even send you a free scale, so you'll have everything you need to get started. If you need a package pickup, you can easily schedule it through your Stamps.com dashboard. And if you sell products online, Stamps.com seamlessly connects you with every major marketplace and shopping cart. So, set your business up for success. When you get started with Stamps.com today, sign up with promo code FHPOD for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and enter code FHPOD. Sunglasses. I love the lick 'em. It's getting to the point in the year where I pretty much need sunglasses every time I step outside. But luckily, our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair I've ever worn. I hate going outside and squinting my eyes like this the entire time I'm outside, and I really love some sunglasses that make me look super boss and cool, like Tom Cruise in Top Gun, maybe. Plus, if you lose or break your sunglasses, even on day one, they'll send you a brand new pair with no questions asked. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can always exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. Every purchase supports the Shady Rays Impact Program, which works directly with nonprofits and their communities to empower and make adventure accessible for all walks of life. There's really no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. So, exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the new year. Go to shadyrays.com and use code FHPOD for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Sup, everyone? We wanted to take a moment to remind you that RTX 2023 is happening this July 7th through July 9th, which just happens to be the day before my birthday, which is very important. RTX is our favorite time of the year, where we get to interact with all of the amazing people that give us the opportunity to make content, namely you. Thank you. It's a celebration of all things Rooster Teeth with panels, special guests, community artists, cosplay, and more, baby. There will be exclusive reveals, meet and greets with Rooster Teeth talent, and special merch available only during the event. We're changing up how the convention feels this year, and it's gonna be awesome. Imagine a mini Epcot-style convention show floor with different attractions and activations from your favorite Rooster Teeth brands all wrapped up in a summer camp theme. It's the summer camp for indoor kids, with Face Jam's Rat and Grackle Pub, a Red Web escape room, a Fuckface museum, a Achievement Hunter mini golf, and even more cool stuff to do that we're saving for attendees to experience. So thanks for listening to us get very excited about RTX. We're looking forward to meeting all of you there. Head on over to www.rtxaustin.com to get more information about the event and buy your badge today. Welcome back to the Funhaus the Jon Pod. Let's see. Surprise Lobotomy says, can you look Jon in the eyes and tell him you love him? Oh, that's for me, I guess. Jon, I love you.
Thank you.
And I mean that sincerely, not just because Surprise Lobotomy told me to.
Now cradle his head and say it.
Lindsay, can you tell him to?
No, that was for you.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
never mind then. Guess you don't love Jon. What's the last good movie you saw? Belvo17 said.
The last good movie I saw, hey now, it was. I need to look up on my phone. I watched something really good recently, and I can't remember what it is, but it
Okay.
was really good.
All right.
And so ask me the next question.
Wait, do you want? I'll give you time, but I know this isn't the Lindsay cast, but you want to know the last movie that I saw? Because I
Yes.
don't watch movies that often.
Mm-hmm.
So this was like over a month ago.
Yes.
Mario.
Okay.
Oh, really?
And
Mario.
review.
You enjoyed
Was
Mario?
it good? So it was good?
No, Mario the movie.
Well, thank you, Lindsay, for that input.
You're
Jon,
welcome.
what was your last good movie?
You're welcome, everybody.
I recently rewatched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh, with Nick Cage.
Yeah,
that's
and I
a
enjoyed
fun
it.
watch.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because I saw it really high in theaters and I didn't remember much of it. And so I rewatched it.
I watched it on a plane the first time and I was like, eh. And then I watched it again. I think I might have also been high. And I was like, this movie is so fucking good.
Yeah. It's a lot.
second
It's
time.
fun.
I'm a big fan of the subgenre of movies where real actors play themselves
Yeah.
in a big part. So, being John Malkovich, that movie. There was another one. The JCVD with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Have you seen that one?
No.
It's amazing. It's just like a bank robbery happens and Jean-Claude Van Damme happens to be there and they're like, dude, you're the guy from the movie. Go save us. And he's like, dude, I'm an actor. What the fuck? Like, I
Oh,
can't
but then
do
he gets
anything.
pulled into
And
it?
he gets pulled into the whole thing. It's
that
amazing.
I gotta watch. What's it called?
JCVD, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
It's great.
Last Action Hero.
Yeah, that's honestly a good example. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie.
But I would like to shout out that I watch television shows like movies and that I oftentimes consume them all in one sitting. I recently watched this weekend, I watched The After Party, which is a TV show.
Okay.
It's 8 hours long, but
Feels like a movie.
I loved it. It was
These
so good.
days.
It's just got a solid cast. Like every single person in it is great.
Okay.
Did you like This Is the End? That's the ultimate movie where everybody.
That's true. I actually really like that movie. I thought that was a fun one.
I wonder if I would like it
impressive
now.
debut, an impressive directed debut from Seth Rogen.
Because I remember enjoying it a lot when I saw it, but I also really enjoyed Knocked Up when I saw it.
Yeah.
And I recently rewatched
I
Knocked
know,
Up
it's
and was
tough.
like, this movie blows.
That was my favorite for so long. I loved that one, and then I don't know, just didn't.
It's like,
hold
is
up.
it just because I don't like smoke crazy amounts of weed and think smoking weed
I
is
still
like
think they're all
super
right,
cool
but
anymore?
Forgetting Sarah Marshall is still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
Second.
works
Oh, yeah.
still. On the same note, Matt is lame asks, "What is your least favorite movie
Least favorite
of all
Wait.
time? Do you have one? I mean, I don't.
So wait, most hated?
Yeah, this is the movie that pisses you off the most. You're just like, fuck this
Did you
movie.
see a movie and you're like, ew?
I don't know.
Okay,
I try not
it's
to
a hard
really.
question.
Or like a movie that you had like really great expectations for and it like just was abysmal.
The Thousand Islands or the Thousand Planets. The Luc
Oh,
Besson.
Bavarian or in
Yeah.
the city of a thousand. Planets.
Valerian in the City of a Thousand Cities or whatever. the fuck.
I like that movie.
I loved Fifth Element, and I was so excited
yeah.
for it. And it was before I had remembered, because I had learned about it and then forgotten that everything from The Professional was based off of Luc Besson's real, like, 13-year-old girlfriend or something. I didn't remember all of that when Valerian was being marketed. And I was like, I can't wait. I love Fifth Element. Fifth Element's great. It's going to be like a sequel to Fifth Element.
Yeah.
It was not.
No.
What's amazing to me, that's a perfect example of, because I also love the shit out of The Fifth Element. And then I watched the Valerian, which I appreciated more than most. But like it came out 30 years after Fifth Element, but it looks so much worse, you know, just because of all the CGI
When
stuff.
did it come out? Recently?
Yeah, Fifth Element was 97, and then there's a ton of computer effects in that. But then Valerian, I want to say, was 2017. You know,
okay,
so
because you just threw me for a loop when
20
you said
years, not
30
not
years. I was
20, I
like,
meant
what
20.
the fuck? And
My
then
bad.
I realized, like, I knew that movie came out in the 90s. So then my brain was still like, wait, I can't. it
Sorry,
could
I
never even-
exaggerated. I meant 20 years.
I know, it just
But you know
really
what I mean?
messed me up.
Maybe I'll
I was
rewatch
like,
it.
what year is it?
Were you a member of Funhaus when we did the like movie party at Omar's and we watched Dragon Ball Z?
No.
That sounds awful.
Don't remember that.
We watched the Dragon Ball Z live action. Then we watched the Chun-Li live action, and then we watched Valerian.
Okay.
I just remember it was really funny because I made it's called like carachas or something like that. It's a bunch of curacao or no, I don't know what it is. It's some
A drink?
Latin American drink that
Sounds
gets
great.
you real fucked up.
I would love it.
Um,
Adios, motherfucker kind of drink.
and Matt Pink drank like 3 of them back to back because they're super sweet, and he's got a sugar tooth, and then he passed out, and he literally not passed out like
Sugar tooth.
from drinking too much. I think it was from a sugar high or something. Like
God.
he laid down and he slept on Omar's little bench thing for 3 hours. Like he fell asleep during the first movie and woke up during Valerian and woke up angry and drunk and was like, "Let me out of here!" And we were all like, "What the fuck is going?" Like Matt arrived, fell asleep, woke up like fists out. It was so funny.
Disoriented.
All right, I got a couple more questions here before I let you go.
All right.
Froshmeister asks, if money
I love
were
Frosh.
if money were not a problem, you know, what would you do? Where would you go? And whatever.
If money were not a problem
Or an issue in
does
your
that
life.
mean?
I think that means you have unlimited.
Okay, well then I would develop a game studio.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say you
Cool.
wouldn't have to like stayed in South Korea and then gone back
Fuck
and forth.
Korea.
Oh. You're over
Sorry,
it?
Koreans.
Someone clip that, please. And,
No, I don't think that they would deny it. That
What about travel? You wouldn't have traveled?
no, I mean that's probably what I would do. Is I
Because then
would
you
go
could
to
pay for
Nomadic.
people to meet up with you and
Yeah,
travel.
I would go to Nomadic, back to Nomadic, but
What are you saying?
Nomad.
Oh, nomadic.
Yeah,
I thought like PNEUMATIC, like nomadic.
yeah. Well, it's similar.
speaking of
You're
your
traveling, both traveling related.
speaking of your traveling nomadic lifestyle, a lot of people want to ask, like, what's your favorite place you ever traveled? If you know, I guess it's not Korea.
When I was like 20, I took this job as the videographer for a nonprofit called from the Stroma Foundation, which is Dutch or Swedish or something. They were trying to expand in the United States with a program they had called Shanglap, which is it's like no one knows what that means. Let's say there was a meaning to it, or it was an acronym or something, and it was like you got to call it something else, but they
Right.
didn't. But it was really cool because they were teaching young women and girls trade skills so that they could become the breadwinners in their families and not be sold off as child brides. So it sounds fucked up, but it was the case. I don't know if it's still the case, but in Bangladesh in 2009, if you were born into a family, you were going to be sold off to some old dude, in your middle years, in your teens. And so the program was literally to prevent that from happening. And it worked. All these women were getting jobs, sewing and different things like that, and then becoming like the main breadwinners for their families. And it was, I went out there. I went to Bangladesh. Did not enjoy Bangladesh. I actually got food poisoning and dehydration and almost died in a hospital in the Shatkhira district, the Southwest. I was literally bedridden, shitting my pants for like 24 hours straight. Anyways, after that, because I was a stupid idiot person, they're like, we'll pay you less, but we'll fly you back a week later so that you can hang out in Southeast Asia. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. And so I stayed in Malaysia for a week, and I went to Penang Island. And then when I got home, all of the reduced pay that I had gotten from that job, I had spent over that week of vacationing. And so I arrived home a bit more tan and just as penniless.
Sorry, so that was your favorite place that you ever went?
Penang Island.
Bangladesh.
Okay.
Penang.
Okay.
Bangladesh, where you said you hated it, and then the other place where you
Malaysia.
said that
Malaysia
you lost
was
all your
great.
money? All right.
Oh my gosh, so many memories from Malaysia. And I know we're running short on time, but can I tell a story from my time in Malaysia?
Yeah, sure. You can tell a 20-second story.
So I was walking and I was on a hike to this place called Monkey Island, which it wasn't an island, it was just a beach. But for some reason they called it Monkey
Is that where
Island.
King Kong lives?
I don't know. It was a beach, but it was
Skull
called Monkey
Island.
Island.
Oh,
It
yeah,
made no
sorry.
sense. Maybe it was called Monkey Beach. Maybe I'm misremembering it. But it was like this trail that went around this mountain, but it was like up and down the whole way, zigzagging around this peak. And then finally I get to the shore and I'm walking and I'm so exhausted and I look out and in the water there's like just
Mermaids?
close a gaggle of middle-aged Middle Eastern men, all in their undies, just like splashing and giggling and like little children, just like looking like they were having the best time. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. But like as I was watching, I was like, it kind of seems like they're overdoing it, like they're performing or something. This
Was
is
it one
so
of those
weird.
like laugh therapy session places?
No. What it was as I kept walking up, I kind of crested around this little embankment, and I see on the shore is the same number of women, full black, like hijabs, head to toe, sitting there, just staring at them, because women aren't allowed to touch water.
Oh.
And so I got the feeling that they were like, they're like, we love this water.
They're just rubbing
This
it in their
water's
faces.
great.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but it was
We're
like,
having a great time in here.
yeah, it was such a funny, like, it was seeing all these people and going, oh, that's so nice. Oh, that's not as nice. That kind of sucks.
Jesus.
Wow.
Well, we're running out of time, John.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here with answering all my questions.
Of course.
Just shutting this thing down here at the end. Fal Anubis has a very important question. Probably one of the most important questions here. It's a two-parter, but we're running late, so we won't do the second part. It says, what is your favorite thing about Ryan Haley? The other part was least favorite thing, but we don't have time.
Oh, I thought it would be like, what's your favorite thing about Lindsay? We don't have time for the second half.
My favorite thing about you, Ryan.
Yeah. We have a lot of time for this answer, so
is
yeah,
that
go
you-
long as long as you'd like.
You are a very open, accepting person.
Thank you.
And you seem to find the best in people
Thank you.
and ignore the worst.
I agree.
Maybe not the worst, but
All right, I won't make you do that anymore. But thank you for saying that about me.
of course. It's true.
Now,
You're
another
such a loving guy.
before Jacob gets here for our very important bi-weekly segment.
What about me?
What's
What's so great about me?
Yeah, okay. Now Lindsay's question. That's actually my question. If I was going to post a question, it'd be, what is your least favorite and favorite thing about Lindsay Washburn?
I feel like I only have
least-
time to answer the least favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Only have time. Just do the least
Please.
favorite. As much time.
I'm paying for therapy, so please.
Lindsay, you're one of the only people I know that is seemingly capable of anything. You can take any task and fucking rock it and do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Are you making that up?
You're one of the. No, I'm serious. You're one of the. In this office, you're the person who consistently is like, this needs to be done. I'm doing it.
Well, you're supposed to do the least favorite, so now I'll give that answer.
Least favorite?
I'm just kidding. Don't
Probably
know.
intimidation factor. I'm too intimidated by you.
The last question, this is also very important. Bingleshire asks, if Jon was in the radioactive chicken heads, what would your chicken head look like? What would your character be? Not that, obviously the chicken heads
Does it
are
have to be a
actual
chicken?
chickens. It doesn't have to be. There's vegetables involved too.
Oh, right.
I
was gonna say I imagined like a hot dog, like a
meat
I just
stick.
when I imagined my like outfit, I imagined just like a cylinder that's like burnt and kind of flaking because it's like a dry, like overcooked hot dog where it's the skin is cracked in a few places and you see pink under,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, ah! Like whenever I try to sing, whenever I chime in, I go, oh God, I can't sing the lyrics. Like it's just constantly in pain.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just,
I get it.
Like, yeah, just like you can't touch me or else I'll just scream because all my nerve endings are burning up.
When I was in high school, somebody was quoting SNL. I didn't know at the time, but I thought that they just asked me this. They go, Ryan, if your arm was a hot dog, would you eat it? And I don't think I'd ever laughed that hard in my entire life. Somehow, just him asking me that question, I was just like, huh, what? I don't know. Would I eat my arm? That's what that reminded me of. Goddamn, Jacob is not here yet, so we're gonna have to keep asking you questions till he gets here.
All right.
Fuck. Okay, now I gotta search through this shit.
I should have looked at it.
Penang Island. I went to Penang Island in order to see the toy museum, the Penang Toy Museum, and it no longer exists.
You know what? I'm sorry to cut you off there, but one thing we can do before you leave
Yeah.
is that we were talking about. You are producing a stream this Friday.
That is true.
Say
There
the
is a
date.
stream this Friday, which I guess would be tomorrow for listeners.
For when this podcast comes out on YouTube and I think on Spotify and other places, it is May 11th, and the live stream is May 12th, Friday, May 12th at 2
So
p.m.
here, I'll throw it out like this.
Yeah, 2 p.m. Pacific time.
If you're listening to this new, May 12th, 2 p.m.
Friday.
If you're listening to this late, then go to YouTube and watch the fucking VOD.
There's going to be a video, so keep an eye out for it.
So that's the thing. So this is something a little pull behind the curtain. We oftentimes do drunk streams, and it's an effort to turn them into a video.
Right, because they're so chaotic and
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And now that we're streaming more, I think a lot of you guys know, as viewers of content, that there's a lot of things that happen in streams that you don't want to see in a VOD. And so we are actually doing the stream. The first part's going to be a show, and the second part's going to have a lot more interactive like elements to it.
Hell yeah.
So there's going to be something for everybody. There's going to be a fun show. There's going to be a VOD that gets cut down into an edit. And then there's also going to be some crazy shenanigans, which is that's going to be the second half when we're all much more liquored up. So the second half of the stream is probably going to get kind of fucking nuts.
And with all that said, it's a Zelda drunk stream.
Yeah,
Zelda
Zelda
drunk
drunk stream.
And-
Zelda
So-
drunk.
Stream. And then you got a trailer you want to set up here that we're going to watch?
Yeah,
Yeah, I threw it together. I'm not super proud of it, but it gets the word out there.
let's see it.
Let's roll it, baby.
Oh, hello
Elise, it's me, Hestu. I just traveled here to let you know that we're doing a drunk stream on May 12th. Just like all the Nintendo drunk streams before, we're going to be playing a new Nintendo game. It's Tears of the Kingdom. Ever heard of it? Anyway, so we're going to be doing shots and playing the game, and it's going to be really fun. And John Holland is going to be there. It's Friday, May 12th, the day the game comes out. Come hang out with us, Elise, please. Elise?
Yeah, that's it. For the audio listeners, it was just Elise looking at a PNG of Hestu jumping around for like 30 seconds.
You know what? It works though.
Yeah,
And then she just goes back to work. I
Well,
can't
Jon,
wait.
I cannot thank you enough for being here on the Jon Pod, even though you didn't know it was going to happen.
My
thank
pleasure.
You so
Don't
much
pod
for,
your pants.
Thank you so much for saying all those nice things about me. I really appreciate you.
Well, it's I had
and
to. We're on a podcast.
I love you.
I would never say that outside of
I know,
this.
but I'm glad that I had a prompt to make you say that.
Of
I love
course.
you. Now get the hell out of here. And bring
Okay,
Jacob in.
all right.
hell
Thanks,
out of
everybody.
Thank you very much, Jon. All right, everyone, give Jon a round of applause while you're sitting at home. Audio
Leave that
and video
door open.
listeners, leave the door opener.
It's a little fucking warm
get some
in here.
Fucking air in here, baby.
So warm in here.
Now, welcome to the pod for the millionth time this season. It's Simpin for Survivor.
Oh shit. I hope this is the one that's fake and the one that I made. That'd be sick. No, sorry. Looks like not. Looks like not.
I mean, welcome to the pod, Jacob Fullerton. I didn't
That's
finish my
me.
sentence. Yeah, we got Jacob Fullerton here to talk about 2 episodes of reality TV while Lindsay sits here and doesn't know what the hell we're talking about.
We're not talking about
Lin-
how I
I'm
finished.
excited to get caught up. 'Cause
yeah.
You guys
Oh, yeah,
are-
that's what I meant. Yeah.
You're not excited to hear about how I finished Jedi Survivor and how all that went?
He beat the game.
I beat the game.
You beat the game, huh?
Yeah.
All right, well, that was,
Cal Kestis gets kisses.
thanks for
That's the update.
Thanks for the update on that. I guess that's tangentially Survivor related, but
Oh, see you later. Just kidding. JK. Oh! Wait, that's not the one
That's
that
a
I
different
made.
one. That was the original one.
That's not the one that I made.
Yeah.
Hang on.
anyway, so let's Jacob, can you give the people a recap of the last two episodes?
Last two seasons.
Last
Oh
two
my
episodes. You watched them last night. You told me, so I would love
Yeah.
to hear your version after you've seen them so recently.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
your? Give us your
Yes,
recap.
toasty.
I'm always giving the recap.
Yeah, okay, so I'll try to recap as best I could because I watched
Please.
them in bed on my phone.
Perfect.
So first episode, the rise of Franny begins.
Uh-huh.
What was it, like 2 challenges? Or that was
Yeah.
1 challenge in the episode, right? Or was it 2?
Right.
Yeah.
And which it was that? No, the reward challenge she won was last episode.
Yes.
But
So 2 episodes ago.
she won the immunity challenge.
Yes, there's that, and then that was the begin of Franny's rise.
Yeah, she's basically won about 3 of the last 4 challenges all
Yes.
around. She's
And we
made
should-
herself a big, reward or just challenge beast target, essentially.
Yeah, who you think it would have risen to be Danny, because I think Danny wants to be this person
Uh-huh.
so badly.
Yes.
And just to remind the audience and Lindsay, Franny was half of the showmance. It was Franny
Manny.
and Maddie, right?
Yeah, Matt and Franny.
Oh,
Manny.
Manny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to the showmance?
He got voted off.
Matt got voted
He
off
got
several
voted off.
episodes
But
off.
not by her?
No, she was devastated.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
She
I
was
would be
bawling
too.
her eyes
Brought
off.
I
to
didn't
the
know if it
world.
was like betrayal type of thing.
No,
No,
well,
not yet.
it's funny because when she's in confessionals, you can tell that she's just like, look, I'm sure we'll hang out afterwards, but we don't have anything to do with each other right now. Like, we're playing the game. She didn't want to have like this showman's target that
Yeah.
she ended up getting
Yeah.
inevitably anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, which is always funny because he's the first jury member. So every
Right.
time they go to tribal council, it always cuts to him just like
Yeah.
he's got a
He's like,
big smile on his face. He's so happy to be there. He's so happy to see Franny.
He seems like a really nice, good guy.
He does.
Tribal
Matt.
council?
Yeah, when they
Vote someone out every episode. That's what it's called, the tribal council.
Yeah, and he's
Lindsay.
on at some point, and eventually they have a jury. Which what do they do?
Wait, let me get
What's
this
the jury
straight.
do?
We're like 7 episodes of Simpin for Survivor in, and you don't know what a tribal council is, Lindsay?
Well, no, I thought that it was something else. Like you were saying that he comes back and watches them.
Well, okay, the last, there's, I want to say 20 something people at the beginning of the show. And then when the first couple people get out, the first dozen people or something, they just are off and it's over. But
Yeah.
then the last, I want want to say 9 or 10, are the jury who end up deciding to vote on who wins the $1 million. That's how the Ultimate Survivor is. So all the people that you fucked over along the way are going to be ultimately back to vote on who they think
that's
should win.
why I got confused.
Yeah, that's the biggest part of Survivor.
And until then, they just kind of come and they sit there.
So they all always know that that's going to happen. But I imagine the first few seasons, that was probably a big twist.
Ooh,
They'd
yeah,
probably
kind
be
of.
like, oh shit. But that Jacob will know because he was on Survivor Block Island
yes.
for one
Rooster
episode.
Teeth.
But you do have to go back at the very end and also cast those votes. Yes.
Yeah, so technically I was in 2 episodes. Because I was in the finale
there
too.
you go. You always forget about that. Huh?
I forget about that. But yeah, so the first episode,
I'm
or from 2 weeks ago, that is the rise of Franny. This is after Brandon is gone. So
Correct.
we have Danny moving in to try to be the big dog.
That's
because
right.
he has tremendous big dog energy. But he is now constantly just coming in second place for challenges, which I think he's very frustrated
What's
by.
like a challenge that they did recently?
So,
What was the first one that Franny beat Danny in? Was that the one where they had to balance the thing? Or was that
sometimes
I
they
mixed
all
them up.
meld together?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like for instance, one is they had to stand on. I think we described this last time you were on.
Yeah.
But they had to stand there on these kind of big pegs, right? You know, for as long as they could. That were probably covered. About half of their foot could be on, and then after about 10 minutes, they go to even smaller pegs that only about a quarter of their foot could be on, and then it's even like a little sliver where it's barely any
How
of
do
your
they
foot.
stay on?
So that's the thing. It's like you got to be this endurance like person that's just
Up
sitting
high off the ground?
Yeah,
You're like 4 feet off.
Yeah,
the
so you have to
ground.
like push your arms against the walls and also like keep your feet
Oh.
on these things to keep yourself from slipping off.
It's
It
just an
seemed
endurance
horribly
challenge,
painful.
yeah. And Danny farted during it.
That's the one that
And
he
it was
I would
very
fart. I feel like I'm going to fart right now listening to that.
funny. You
But
can
yeah.
if you'd like.
This is one where they like have to stand.
I
on
open
this-
the door.
That's why it's so hot in here.
It's all Lindsay's farts,
Yeah.
exactly.
But this is
That'd be
one where-
amazing if like they didn't smell and it only made it like warm.
Yeah, just generate
that's
heat.
ideal, right?
Yeah, during cold weather. But there's one where there's like a square and they have to stand it on a 1 foot. And their other foot's on top of that foot. That second foot can't touch or anything. And there's like a bar above them. And they have this like kind of rolling pin looking thing. And they have to use that to hold a ball in place, like between the wall and their rolling pin. They have to like balance on 1 foot and push against this thing without it slipping out.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to do that as long as they can. So that was one of the ones that Franny beat Danny in. I don't remember if that was last episode or the episode before.
yeah, of course.
It all melts together.
It happens.
I think that was 2 episodes ago, because then there's the one where they have to like they have their hands tied and they have to like crawl on the ground like a worm.
God, yeah, that was ridiculous. Everyone looked so stupid.
Yeah,
Through
there's
mud.
a challenge where they have to crawl through the dirt with their limbs tied, grab this like buoy, like an ocean buoy, with their teeth and drag it along with them over like a little hill.
Oh my god.
And, like,
Like
get
little
to some
otters.
spot. Yeah, another one where I saw it, I'm like, Carolyn is not going to be able to do
There's
this.
no way, yeah.
Carolyn can never do challenges. She's so funny because she's made it this
Why
far.
can't she do challenges?
She's just not athletic.
Oh,
I think we talked about it in another episode, but yeah, not only can she not do it, but she just is like very public about it, like, I can't do this.
Yeah, like
And they cut to her every once in a while. It's
I mean, that would be
hilarious.
me.
yeah, she'll just be laying there on the ground, just like just screaming, and like everyone else is way ahead.
I have a question. Are
Yeah.
there any of these challenges like that we could try to do here?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
100%.
totally could. That would be
Yeah.
such a fun idea.
We should
yeah.
reenact
Be-
Survivor
just
challenges.
Be in pain. I don't know.
Yeah.
We probably have to sign extra waivers and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and we've brought it up before, but Carson, the youngest person here, is like a rocket scientist student. He literally, some of them are puzzles, Lindsay, that
Yeah.
like you can. And
I love that.
He 3D printed a bunch of the puzzles.
Right.
and
Yes,
has
I
been
remember this
doing
guy,
it.
the cheater.
Well, cheater. You mean the most prepared person?
Yeah. Which in the most recent episode, he was struggling. Like he had a puzzle in front of him. He made it to the end of this long challenge, and there was a puzzle. It's like a bunch of pieces to make like a star, but they're all like weird, just shapes and stuff. It's like a 3D puzzle. So when he was putting this together, it was all perfect except the last piece. So it's somewhere in this star he had fucked up, and he had to find out where the wrong piece was and rearrange the whole thing. But it was so funny watching him. He's like, Carson's got one piece left in his puzzle, and he's just like
Yeah.
trying to cram it in there, and it's not fitting. It's like, ooh, that was he was sweating.
So
He was sweating during that one.
Yeah, it was. Jumping forward to last week's episode.
Yeah.
Right. One of my 3 fucking people on my draft, Franny, gets voted out. So like Lindsay, we got she literally has won the last 2 challenges.
Yeah.
You know. And so then she gets a
She was
big
doing
target on
too
her back,
good, yeah.
which so now that leaves me Carolyn as my only person, and I would like to make a case that in a weird way, indirect way, that like her being so shitty at these challenges is a plus for her. Because I
100%.
think that you can make an argument that it is bad to win challenges in Survivor a lot of the times.
Yep.
Because just watch Franny. You think it's good because you're going to get the immunity, and yeah, that'll save you maybe if you win for that 1 week. But if they know you're a challenge beast, then you have such a bigger target on your back.
Yep.
Unless
As soon
you're at
as
the
she
end.
rose up,
So there's
started
no
winning
one.
challenges.
Yeah, there's no one that is ever going to think Carolyn is going to come and be this challenge beast. So she doesn't have that threat for her.
Yeah, but she just has to get past whatever last few people there are somehow, because that's when they're going to single her out.
If you're more
Such a mind game.
yeah,
It is.
if you're more interested in that topic, like there's a Rob Sistriano, I think is his name. He has this channel called Rob Has a Podcast, and he basically just interviews Survivor people and Big Brother people, and he has a whole video that released because of last. About this topic. Is it? Do you want to win reward challenges?
Yeah, but Franny's,
specifically reward challenges, not necessarily immunity challenges. The rewards, there's the difference is obviously, the rewards are like food or like they got to meet their loved
yeah,
ones.
Franny got them a
read
reward
letters.
challenge where they got to go to a place called the Sanctuary and eat tacos and drink margaritas.
Oh, that
And she got
sounds
to
amazing.
pick She got to pick 3 other people to
that's
go
how to
with
make
her.
some enemies right
So
there.
it's basically like half go to this cool sanctuary and party and eat
Yeah.
tacos and get to read letters from their loved ones, which was very emotional.
Did you cry?
And the other, it was really emotional. I was like, wow.
I kind of teared up.
I did a
honestly.
little bit
Aw.
because Franny picked like all the moms and like she
Yeah.
picked Carolyn
Which is
first.
pretty
they
smart.
look at
Yeah.
the letters from their
Yeah,
kids.
exactly.
Yeah, so
yeah.
like she picked Carolyn first, who has a son, and she immediately was just like bawling her eyes out. And I was like, "Oh, Carolyn! Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
she's so happy!" But yeah, they get to go eat tacos and drink margaritas, and the other 4 people get to sit in the rain and not read letters from their loved ones.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was
And plot
dumping
against them.
rain. So they went back
Yeah.
to their camp. They're just sitting there in the mud. All
They do that kind of shit on like Bachelor in Paradise. I
Yeah.
remember that. Like, 5 of you get to go have a party,
Yeah.
and the rest of the girls who are also falling in love with this
Yeah.
man have to like
absolute misery.
sit in their hotel room with each other. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Can you clarify something for me?
Sure.
Because I feel like maybe we talked about this when we first started this segment, but like in the beginning of the show, it's 2 teams,
Yes.
and then so
3
it's like,
teams, right?
or
oh, actually, yes.
is
There-
it
I'm
like
sorry, there
when
were 3 teams.
the show that we did where
Yeah.
then you have to win, so you don't have to go to the tribal thing?
Yes.
Okay, and if you lose, then your team's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then
And
they
then at
become
some
one team.
point, there's a merge.
Yeah.
Merge. Got
Right,
it. Merge.
yeah.
So yeah, it's multiple tribes that
Anyways.
eventually become one
How many
tribe.
episodes are left?
Okay, so that's a
question.
great question. I think we just did the 10th episode, and it looks like just on the Wikipedia there's 2 more left. Does that make sense? I didn't
know.
It always sneaks
I
up
don't know how
on
this
me.
goes.
It always sneaks up on me, but I think that because in the last episodes it's usually like a double. There'll be like the last episode gets a lot of
Yeah.
people out.
Yeah.
So there might be only 2 more episodes left. We might have 1 more episode of Simpin for
Damn,
Survivor
that's crazy.
for this season. Are you
That's
shitting me?
crazy.
I didn't think about that.
Can we
It snuck
talk
up
quickly
on me.
about Jamie's tall tales?
Jamie's fault? Well, she's telling the truth,
She
but no
is.
one believes her
Because it's pretty
so
wild.
it's so bad
So
to see.
Jamie has famously for this pretty much most of this whole show
Uh-huh.
had a false immunity idol on her, which she's constantly talking about. Like, oh my god, I'm so glad I've got this immunity
Right.
idol. I
I
can't
remember
wait.
this.
But she doesn't remember.
Tale.
She doesn't know that it's fake.
Yeah.
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 But it didn't have to be a problem because Kane, who was the nerd D&D guy
Mm-hmm.
on the show, which we should talk about how chaotic it got during the
That's
end
true.
of last week's
It was
episode.
a live tribal. Everyone was talking to each other, whispering
Yeah.
the whole time, like, "Hey, is the deal still on?"
because
Is the
planets
deal still
started
on?
forming
Shit.
and
Stick to the plan.
Yeah, so people right before the vote they started getting up and just being like,
Yeah, you know.
"Are we gonna vote for Danny?" And then basically
I
all the
would
plans
too.
went in the toilet, and just somebody else that it didn't seem anybody really planned on voting out got voted out.
Yeah.
And that was Kane, who.
That's how you got voted out.
That's exactly how I got voted out. It was an accident, really. But so Kane, one of the plans mixed into all that chaos involved Jamie giving her fake immunity idol to Kane.
Which she thought was real,
yeah, which she thought was real.
and he
giving
put it
to
in his
Kane.
sock.
Yeah. And didn't end up trying to use her or anything. So he got voted off and took the idol with him, basically. So
So then James, which is I still don't really understand the logic of,
Yeah, me
of
neither.
all of it, and obviously she could have asked for it back publicly, but then everyone would know that he would have that she had this all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
Yeah.
So she just watched her idol walk off, her fake idol that she didn't know was fake, and
I
then
don't
she,
think anyone knows this fake at this point.
Right. Well, everyone there's rumors that Jamie had the idol,
Yeah.
but then she has to go to everyone and go, look, everyone, just so you know, I want to come clear. I gave Kane my idol, and he put it in his sock, and he walked off with it.
Yeah.
So I don't have it. And then she leaves, and everyone's like, that was fucking
everyone
bullshit.
thinks she's full of shit.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh,
So now everyone thinks she's a liar.
yeah.
Oh,
But
shit.
it's a crazy story, but it's 100% true. But nobody believes her, and everyone thinks she's
And
dishonest.
she's in the confessional room. She's this big yogi person, being like, it just feels so good to play an honest game and just be like, I hate. It was just a big weight off my shoulders just to be able to say, I'm not keeping anything from anyone. And everyone, all of them are
And
like,
they don't
they
believe
think I'm
her.
gonna believe that. Jamie's a fucking moron.
It's very funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. And I watched on Rob has a podcast thing of the exit interview with Franny, and she said watching that was just ridiculous. She was just like, I can't even believe that actually was true, because they were just 100,000% convinced that she was a liar.
It does feel like after Franny had shed the baggage of the showmance, she decided to just go hard, but I think just flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, I don't think I really think winning that reward challenge. I mean,
Yeah.
she even said on the exit interview, she's like, I never thought that I would be the one going out there and winning all these challenges. Like that wasn't like her trying to do that.
Yeah.
And apparently everyone else just is weak and sucks.
Yeah.
And
She made a bunch of enemies by just making 3 very good friends, bringing them to the the sanctuary. And then she's bred resentment with all the other people, and then just stood out as a strong contender for challenges. So it's like, whatever, let's get rid of Franny.
Well, yeah, and imagine that. She was nice to the mommies, gave
Nice to the mommies.
literally let them get letters from their loved ones,
Mm-hmm.
and then they all conspired to vote her out. So it's like that's another evidence that
Don't be nice.
don't be, you are going to get no goodwill from people by giving them this thing. In
Treats.
fact, they're going to say, "Oh, they just invited me here to get my vote and my sympathy."
Mm-hmm.
Like almost, it's like fuck them. In a
And then we
weird
had
way.
more deception because when we had the challenge with the negotiation, where they're like 4 people can sit out and
God,
get immunity, but everyone gets rice when they go back to their camp. And like everyone, this is probably the most haggard and miserable everyone's looked.
Yeah,
It's
they're all just like,
everyone
"Please,
looks like shit.
please,
Like,
someone else.
they're all hungry. They're eating like chopped up, overripe papayas that they've just like grilled, and it looks terrible. And they're just like, we're all so hungry. So they do this challenge, and 4 of them sit out from the challenge and basically can't be immune for that council, but everyone gets to eat some rice. So that happened.
And Danny is sitting there in his confessional being like, that made me fucking sick, man. Like you're out here on Survivor. Like you can not eat rice for three weeks.
Yeah, basically
Sorry.
telling like we didn't need the rice. Like we all should have stayed in this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, then they took the rice, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember where I was going with that.
I would take the rice.
Yeah, it looked very. They all looked very
I'm
happy
getting
to have the
immu-
rice.
I'm playing Survivor. I'm getting that immunity that night.
So
Yeah, right.
so to wrap things up, who's your pick to win?
Okay, that's what
Since you won't get to really say it
I'm
until
glad
the
you said
next
that.
one.
We're going way long today. Sorry about that. But we'll wrap this up in a second.
Just
And
say your
good
pick,
question.
the winner,
There's only
yeah.
8 people left.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Who's your number one? I'm so conflicted.
I want Carol to win.
I
so
want her to win so
bad
bad too. Not only
Okay,
because I have
so
her in the
they
draft,
both
but
pick
I would
Carolyn.
love for her to win.
Yeah,
But who do I think is going to win? I can see a lot of ways. I think if I had to put money, it might be Danny would be my second. Not second. I think he might be my first.
you don't
'cause-
think that he's gonna make himself too big of a target because he wants to win so bad?
Well, I think that once you get down here to the very nitty gritty end of this, it now I think from going on out is good to win all these immunities, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think that he's the best chance to win pretty much every challenge from here on out. He's
yeah,
the
because
strongest
Franny's not there to
guy.
stand in front
Quick
of him
question.
anymore.
What up?
Did they ever get to a tribal council and there's somebody who gets voted out and then they have an idol and even the audience didn't know about it? So it's then they do
like
a
they didn't show
flashback
it.
of 4 weeks ago.
Everyone, that's a pretty rare thing. I
Yeah.
believe I have seen them, because Jeff will go,
Some
okay, does anyone have an idol? And then some random person has pulled one out. But usually they set you up so that
Gotcha,
you
gotcha.
know
Okay, yeah.
all the information.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Carolyn, huh?
my picks are either going to be I know are either going to be Danny because he's strongest and has made a bunch of big moves. Got Brandon now, did all this other
He knows
stuff.
how to play the game.
He knows how to play the game, but I think he has very poor social game. I don't think he's really
Yeah,
like
not at all.
on the same level as everyone. Carolyn, just because
She'll
she's
Mr. Magoo
insane,
her
and
way
she
there.
will Mr. Magoo her way there. And then I believe if Carson gets to the final 3, he would have a good shot because he has such a compelling story about how much preparation
Yeah.
he put into this,
But I think-
and it actually paid off.
I do think Carson's weakness, though, is that he keeps trying to lie to everybody, and then people just like confront him, like, "Why did you do that?" Like, because
Yeah,
they're running out of he's running out of corners to hide in.
Right.
So his schemes will be out in the open.
but everyone has schemes, and
Yeah.
everyone, so that's kind of easily forgiven, I think, at the end of the day. But he also kind of seems one of the weakest survivors.
His stamina,
like
he's losing his
little
strength.
tiny, like, please, I need rice. Someone else, please give me the rice. And he's like puking his guts out.
Yeah, he's just a young boy.
So yeah, it sucks. Anyway, Lindsay, last thing before we wrap. You have not watched an episode, but of all the names we've been throwing out, who do you think is going to win, and who do you want to win?
What happened to the Doctor who was
Doctor's
saying
gone. He's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
Forever ago.
I don't know. I wrote it down on a piece of paper when we did the initial thing.
Well,
but
now
I don't know where it is.
you should have been keeping notes the entire time.
Yeah,
What
I
the
know.
fuck?
I should have.
Yeah, you could just say Heidi.
Yeah, just say a
No,
name.
Heidi's not gonna fucking win.
I don't think so
I don't think
either.
so
That
either.
was a
Thank you.
good.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Lindsay.
good
Yeah.
for agreeing
Thank
with
you
us.
for reiterating
idiots.
Well, any others?
Carolyn's gonna win.
Carolyn. Yes.
High five.
Carolyn.
Come on.
And this
Yeah.
has been Simpin for Survivor on the Funhouse Podcast. Go Carolyn. See you next week, baby.